Oh boy. Add Jaden Ivey's name to the list of athletes who decided to chase faith over fame. Mr. Ivey is in a bit of a pickle as he decided to go loud and condemn any and every sin. Now, I must say, I have to commend this man. This is a pretty bold thing to do. And I know people want to say all the time that Christians are bold. But look, when your money is funny, it can kind of change the way that you act. So when the money is right, you might fight. And Mr. Jaden Ivey decided to go against the entire world as he decided to make anti-LGBTQ remarks that essentially cost him his dream job. Now look, this is a really big thing. Anybody that's a hooper, you understand that the goal always was to make it into the NBA. Like N1 came in and made it a reality like, yo, we can't do that, but we can take this thing between our legs. Hey, yo, look. Hey, I'm just saying, like, when it comes to N1, they provided a lane that said you don't have to be in the NBA to be great or to be seen or to have this sense of completion, right? To have this sense of final boss level. That is what N1 decided or was able to offer us. But all in all, your entire goal and your entire dream and your entire desire as a young hooper was to make it to the NBA. And not everybody actually gets to work their dream jobs. Most people, they may operate in some capacity of what once was their dream, but on the side, they're like bagging groceries or sweeping somebody's studio or doing something along. They don't really get to live these dreams cutthroat and free. However, those select few, that 1%, like the Jaden Iveys of the world, get the opportunity to do so. And there's always somebody that seems to squander that moment. And this seems to be one of those things. Now, look, before I actually dove into this, I was kind of like, yo, the talk is he's a new Christian. He's a new reborn again Christian. And so if you've ever been around people like that, hey, I was once this way, that beginning stage is very extreme. That beginning stage, guys, you don't want anything to muddy up what you got going on. You are afraid of even sneezing and not saying bless you. Like those first few moments, and I say moments, but this could be years for some people. Those first few years are very extreme and for good reason. You throw away the old and you bring in the new, right? You're a new being, and all those things that made me who I was or that old person are now passed away. And these are kind of one of the things that Jaden Ivey pointed to in the very beginning. And so I understand him acting in this manner if that in fact is the truth. But look, you got to kind of be self-aware. Now, look, there are plenty of people who have left their sport, plenty of athletes, plenty of great athletes. Maya Moore, the Michael Jordan of the WNBA, who had a lot more left in the tank, decided to leave it all and follow Christ. Like, this is biblical, guys. This is things these are things that we were told via parables, that if you want to truly follow Christ and do them, we've seen these things happen, but in a lot of cases, they happen very silently or just very kind of like, hey, like this was fun, but I'm a grown up now. Like that's kind of the attitude that a lot of them give to it. They just kind of fade away. This is AJ Griffin of the Atlanta Hawks did the exact same thing. They just kind of fade in the background. But this Mr. Isaac's choice of, y'all remember when the Joker blew up the hospital in The Dark Knight? Like, this is kind of the way that Jaden Ivey decided to take this as he continued to speak about a lot of things, as people were asking him questions in the chat and wanting to know kind of what was going on, or even just share that they still had love for him and they still supported him. He would just ask like, yo, are you saved? To the point where he said that on Judgment Day, the Detroit Pistons will not matter. Even going at the top GOATs of the sport, and that of LeBron James and Michael Jordan, saying the exact same thing, that those rings can't save you. Those rings are going to matter on Judgment Day, and he's not wrong. However, this is kind of, I told y'all about that extreme. This is it. You want to tell everybody. I want to tell the world. I want everybody to know. And that's great because it's such an amazing feeling when you feel this for the first time and you can't control it and you think everybody should know, and they should. It's It's all about your approach, right? And in this situation, Mr. Ivey decided to approach this with reckless abandon, and it cost him his job. Now, Mr. Ivey still gets paid. He still gets his 10 M's. So he set up in that manner, and maybe that's what it was like. Like, yo, I got my 10. We Gucci, right? But I know that Jaden Ivey, a lot of people are trying to make this as he's going crazy. A lot of people are trying to make this as he's not right mentally. And I know that he came off a bad leg injury and he really wasn't the same person. Even quoting that when being interviewed, saying that the person that made him or the things that made him, Jaden Ivey, is no longer there, that he is a new creature. He really got a real deep and tough relationship, a hardcore relationship with Christ once he had went through his surgery. And knowing athletes and knowing what they've been through and knowing the competitive nature of them, anybody at this level, anybody at this professional level, they take these things seriously. They take their body seriously. They take their craft seriously. And so when things happen where they don't quite feel like themselves, or maybe they suffered something that they haven't suffered ever before throughout all of Pee-wee and high school and college, they tend to go through this depression. And it's just all about being an athlete, accepting the hard thing to grasp is accepting that you may not be that same person again. I remember hearing George Foreman always talking about the fact that when he lost, hit the very first time because he was undefeated, he was this man that everybody feared. He didn't know how to take it. He didn't think anybody was going to accept him. He didn't think anybody was going to look at him the same way. He even contemplated suicide. Like, these things, when you go through injury and you go through battling, trying to be what you once was, you always hear the stories of the depression creeping in. And in this moment of his depression and in the moment of being down, he met Christ. And a lot of times Christ meets us at our lowest point. And if he wasn't a Christian before, or he didn't take it seriously before, he took it seriously now, and it is extreme. And unfortunately, it cost him what some would say the job of a lifetime. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's what the devil is there for, to tempt you and, different things like that. And some would say, I don't understand why this is happening. They're hating on the Christians and different. All I'm saying is, if you've been a part of the corporate industry at any point, there is no denying or no escaping the inclusivity of everyone associated with that brand or with that company. It is what it is. And so that a company doesn't find itself on the wrong side of these lawsuits and court proceedings and possibly even getting their business shut down, they're going to make sure that everybody is celebrated. Now, being in the corporate industry, it does kind of suck. Like, when it comes to Christianity and religion, it's kind of like, oh, that's taboo. Like, oh, the second it comes out your mouth, you're pushy, you're preaching it. But when it comes to everything else, when you mention LGBTQ or something along those lines, it's like, hey, be careful what you say. You know how that can turn. And that can be a bit frustrating for Christians. And I know sometimes when these people take these steps, they are just wanting the public help. But the other Christians in these industries are going to be quiet because they don't want the same thing to happen to them. It sucks, but it is what it is. It is, in fact, the truth. So I think the real question in all of this is seeing AJ Griffin do it, seeing Maya Moore do it, now seeing him do it. And the crazy part about it is that he didn't walk away. And this isn't like this was just some scrub. This was a lottery pick. Top 5. Like, I remember going through his draft class, looking and saying, oh, Jaden Ivey. Oh, man, I would love to get him. Being an avid Thunder fan, defender champs, y'all know what it is. Got the back-to-back MVP. It's a foregone conclusion. Shouts out to Shea Butter. But when we were looking through that draft class, and that's how we picked up Chet. And Chet helped us win those ships. If it wasn't for Chet, we wouldn't have been winning those. But I remember looking through him like, oh, yeah, oh, no, he nice. Oh, if we can't get this one, yeah, that's the one we needed. Like, he was like that. So it's not about talent when it comes to him. So you can look at a person like Jonathan Isaacs, who's averaging somewhere around 3 points a game. And, he's preaching and he's doing his things. And the NBA ain't bothering him. But I don't know if he's speaking any anti-LGBTQ or anything like that. Like, that's a big thing. When we talk about the NBA and we talk about how global it is and how they are represented on staff and on roster and in these corporate positions by every race, creed, and religion, they can't show any bias about anything. And they have a Spanish Heritage Month. And they have a Black History Month where they're celebrating these things and celebrating indigenous people. Oklahoma, the Thunder is real big about that. celebrating indigenous people because this is the land. This is their land. Like, we understand that. We understand that we're in the middle of the Trail of Tears. Like, we get that. So we're going to celebrate that and put that out there on the forefront. So when he claims that they are forcing him, in so many words, forcing him to participate in these events. But I got to wonder that if a white person came out during Black History Month and said the same thing, like, oh man, they forcing us to do this Black History and I don't think it's right and I shouldn't have to, like, that would be crazy. Would he'd probably get kicked out the NBA too, like, for real, especially with LeBron. If Chris Paul was still there, y'all already know. But like, when you are a part of a corporate company, you have to accept that these are some of the things. Can you be outspoken? Yes. Some would say, oh man, he did it on his day off. Like, he wasn't in uniform. He wasn't in any of it. But what he was saying was directly that the NBA was doing this. And those partners that they have, the Nikes and the Tissot's and, the Gatorades, they have people in these positions, a part of these communities. Like, this isn't rocket science, guys. Somebody somewhere got offended and made a phone call quickly from whatever screenshot or forwarded live video or whatever the case is. But people have to understand that with social media being public, everybody gets to see it, and those things have adverse effects. I remember working a corporate job, and they pulled this person in based off of a post they made concerning an incident that happened that had nothing to do with the company. They stated their opinion, and they were fired because the company was tagged in their bio as where they worked, and they didn't want to be associated. Guys, these things matter, and that wasn't even LGBTQ. That was a whole different situation. So these things matter when you have people backing you, when you have brands, when you have things going on and hands in different pots. Got a lot more people to answer for, and people are going to pull the freedom of speech card. Guys, I get it. But they're their own entity. It's just like if a business say, hey, no weapons. I'm in an area where you don't have to have a license to carry and you don't have to conceal it either. Yet if a building says no weapons, you can't take it in there, regardless of what the law says outside of that. This area, this house, I say no. So you have to understand that and abide by those, and anything that's going to blow back on them negatively like that is going to be one of those situations where they're like, hey, yeah, man, you're not worth the headache. You're not worth the headache. You're not worth the questions. You're not worth the circus that is about to come with it. You can go have all that circus over there by yourself with your $10 million and don't call us. Like, don't, hey, big hit us or whatever. Like, you good. Take that, figure it out. That's more than most people would get in your situation. Go about your business. Like, that's kind of the way that they're taking it. A lot of people want to say that it's anti-Christian, but there are plenty of people who claim to be devout Christians, i.e. a Steph Curry. And he decided to go at Steph Curry, talking about he cusses and that he's not really who he says he is. He's not one of them ones for real. To that I say, most of you all know a cussing Christian. I'll just say it like that. Whether or not you claim that it's real or you claim they can't be Christian, whatever. You know somebody who claimed to be Christian and curse, okay? So with that being said, it's not as uncommon as one may think, okay? Especially in a competitive sport like basketball, and you're at the top of the top competitively, yeah. And you're getting paid $millions to play this, yeah. You are going to have a slip up of words. And it's really not that big of a deal. Like, when we think about things like Tyler Perry made his career off of a character named Madea. And what a lot of people don't realize, or a lot of white people don't realize, or people who don't understand the culture, is that the Madea character is very real in a lot of black households. The grandmother that is sweet, that want to help everybody out, but yet has that thing in her bag, but can quote every scripture in the Bible and wants to be on time for church and got her big hats, yet will completely cuss you out of disrespect. Like, that is a normal, like, y'all think this is ha kiki funny, and it is, but that is the normal instance of I don't want to, let me not say normal, but that is more common than what a lot of people may think when we talk about Christians and kind of things that used to be frowned upon. With it being 2026, there are a lot of things that people would say, Christians and those things don't mix, that are definitely mixing in today's time. So again, the question is it worth it? Like, a lot of Christians who have never had access to that money is going to say yes, and they're going to big up him, and it is dope to see. But you ain't never been in that situation, and you don't know what that's like when them checks stop coming, and you used to live in a certain lifestyle. Oh, well, God will give it to you all. Yes, he will. He'll give it to you tenfold. Plenty of parables about that. But there are often situations where people like a Delonte West, I don't know what his faith is like, but these things happen. Sebastian Telfair living in an apartment, like these things are real. Like this. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is when I first heard this entire situation and everything go on, I was really on the side of, well, he's a newborn again Christian. I understand being extreme, like he just getting his faith out there, but don't fault the man, like he's young. These things happen once he lives a little bit of life. His views on certain things will change. It happens. It really does happen to everybody. But like it's okay. But then when I went and seen the video and how he was making it a point to him, like, yeah, you lost your job. Yeah, you would lose your job if it wasn't the NBA. You would lose your job even if it wasn't about Christianity. If you never mentioned anything about Christianity, but you went on the exact same rant, just because that ain't how you rock, you would have been fired too. When you think about the NFL and you think about the NBA, they've made big points to highlight these type of athletes. And these athletes have been trash. But when you talk about the WNBA, who probably has the biggest display of that type of lifestyle, and that's part of the NBA. Come on, bro. Like, that's the kind of, so you can't kind of, he's at this point where he's like, man, really? Like, I'm being detrimental? Like, how am I being detrimental? And I wasn't here, and I'm big upping everybody, and man, come on, man. What are we talking about? Bam Adebayo's chick is in the WNBA. And some of her closest friends, like, come on. Like, what does Rashad say? Isn't it obvious? Chat, is it obvious? Put it in the chat. It's obvious. Like, come on. I don't know. A lot of people, he thought it was worth it enough. He was just speaking his mind, and he just wanted to tell the world. The song says, go tell it on the mountain, that Jesus Christ is Lord. Everywhere you go tell it on the mountain. And this is what he decided to do. I don't agree with his approach. I think he could have voiced his concern with that. I would imagine that the NBA, with being as legal as it is and it having the type of staff members, former FBI and different things like that, is for a whole nother reason. But it having these things on payroll, I'm sure there's some sort of type of exempt that you can mark that allows you to not do this. They may grant you a leave of absence during the month or something like that. I would imagine something like that exists. I remember when we were in the COVID era and there were certain establishments where it was like, hey, we're not forcing you to get the shot, but in order to have this job, we do want to know if you have had it. And here at this job, you have to have it to work here, but you don't have to have it because it's your choice whether or not you want to get it. It's just that to work here, you have to have the shot. But a lot of those companies also had a waiver that you could sign and say, hey, I'm requesting exempt from getting a shot, whether it be for race, whether it be for religion, whether it be for my own beliefs or whatever, or my doctor says so, I'm doing this. You can put that request, and they got the ability to deny or grant your request, right? So I would imagine that if a little old company like that, that's not making millions over millions every year, has the ability to do that, I would imagine that the NBA, it being as legal as it is, it having all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted, this is in fact, they have to have something like that. You can't tell me that there's nothing out there like that. They have an appeal process for anything. And I know what y'all going to say. Oh, he said this, but they still got Miles Bridges. And it was, yes, recorded on tape, him beating his baby moms. And he still has a job. But unfortunately, there are a few things that you can't talk about. And this is one of them. He did that off the clock. And nobody talks about it other than y'all. So it's just kind of one of them things. Yes, the NFL has its issues. There have been people convicted of sex parties and cocaine. I understand. But again, when it comes to things that they just don't like, Colin Kaepernick didn't say shit and he lost his job. Like, and what he was doing was like, we were actually seeing in real time what he was protesting, and it didn't work out. Again, if you are affecting that bottom dollar, if people in your pockets are saying they don't like that, then they have no choice, regardless of what the face feels like, that, hey, let them be free. Nah, it ain't like that. Every situation that costs that company money, and real money, there is no place for you within that company. And that's just what it's going to be, man. I really hate that this is happening to him. Again, this is somebody who got the chance to live their dream. But unfortunately, man, sometimes we got to think before we post. I just think that that's kind of where we're at with it. If he's okay with this, if he's fine with it, if he has no regrets, then all power to him. But we're talking about if But again, if this is something where he's kind of like, then maybe we probably should have recorded it first and then post it, okay? Rather than going live. Yeah, baby.